Hi, my name's Sam and I work for Laos as a cookery tutor. My course that I deliver is Healthy Cooking, Zero Waste. So for today's demonstration, I'm going to demonstrate how to portion a whole chicken. This could save you money, but also save food waste at the same time. So I'm just going to go lower the camera so you can get a bit of a more detailed look at the portioning. Okay, so you can see that I'm using a red chopping board and a red knife. This is to alleviate from cross-contamination. If you haven't got colour-coded knives and boards at home, that's okay. I tend to just keep a separate board purely just for my raw meats. That way I know that I'm alleviating from cross-contamination, which is the transfer of harmful substances from food to food, equipment to food, and people to food. Okay, so it's a little bit safer. So first of all, I'm going to have the chicken facing me with the legs. Okay, what we're going to do is this part here is just a bit of skin. We're just going to cut that just to allow us to get to the legs. Okay, so I'm going to start with the left side. And then as you can see here, I'm just going to cut just through the skin, just so it allows the chicken leg to be revealed. Okay, now at this point what we need to do is we need to pop, there's a couple of sockets on the back of the chicken here where the legs join. That's what we need to pop out to make it easier to remove the chicken legs. Okay, so what we're going to do is hold the chicken, your fingers underneath here, and all we're going to do is hold the breast and pop it up through, and you'll hear a popping sound, and you'll also see the knuckle. It's come away, the socket. Okay, so that's one side, and then it's flat, it's easier to work with then. Okay, if you do the same this side, so if you hold the chicken on the breast, fingers underneath, and just pop it up and pop it through so it reveals the socket there. Okay, so then it's quite flat. What we're then going to do is, it doesn't matter which side you start, left or right, I'm going to start from the left side. Okay, so we're going to turn the chicken onto the breast, and we're going to hold the chicken leg so you can see the socket popping out. What we're going to do is we're going to use the knife and we're going to cut all the way around here. So as you can see, so it's going to come all the way around here, and that will remove your chicken leg. So this part here, this is called an oyster. There's a little bit of meat in there, so we're going to cut all the way around there. Okay, so once it's like so, hold it back with your left hand and use your knife. Your knife is going to be pointing upwards and you're going to go away to the left. Okay, just be careful, always keep your knife against the carcass, okay, against the bone. So all we're going to do is go round in a circle, as you can see, like so. Turn your chicken around a little bit more. Again, always keeping your knife against the chicken carcass, and we're just cutting through, and that will relieve one leg. Okay, so as you can see where that I've cut, I've just gone round almost like in a semicircle all the way around where the chicken leg is, and then this one is this side. Okay, you always find that one side is a bit easier than the other. Okay, I always find the leg that you're coming towards you is a little bit easier because you can see what you're doing. Okay, so this side, okay, start with your breasts on the board again and your chicken. This time you're going to go towards you, like this way. So we're doing the same scenario. We're going around this oyster part of the chicken, around here and around there. So all you're doing is you're cutting straight across there, basically. So again, keep your knife against your carcass, and just with slow little movements, you can see that you're going to go through where your carcass was. Sorry, not your carcass, your socket was. Okay, and then that reveals another chicken leg. Okay, so now we've done that, we're going to turn the chicken back over again. Now there are different ways of doing this. You'll see different videos. People take the wings off first and then they do the breasts. I find it a bit easier, especially if you're new to this technique, to leave the wings on. This way it gives the chicken a bit more stability, because if you've taken them off, it's a little bit more wobbly. Okay, so we're going to start with the breasts now, and you've got a breastbone that goes all the way down here. This is where your wishbone is, just there. Okay, so what we're going to do is go one side of that breastbone. So you'll feel it. Take your knife to whichever side, it doesn't really matter. Again, just start at the tip here, so you can see, just there, so you can see where this bone is there. So I'm going to do this right side first, and we're using the tip of the knife mostly, just little, keep your knife against the left of this breastbone. And we're just going to do a little cut, just to cut through that skin, so it makes it a bit easier, as you can see. Okay, and then keeping your knife again against this bone here, this side. Okay, a little sweep all the way down, like so. Okay, and then you'll come to the wishbone. So as you can see there, so always make sure that your knife is against this, because that helps you. That way you're going to have more meat on the breast as opposed to meat left on the bone. Okay, then when you get to that point, you can either go down, you can either cut down, keeping your knife against the wishbone, go all the way through that, or you can snap the wishbone. I'm just going to demonstrate going down this way, just to show you that you just go down, keeping the knife again, the blade against this bone here, and then just little sweeps. Okay, then we're going to turn it round, so we've got the breasts facing towards you. It's the opposite side now. Okay, so this way makes it a little bit easier. If I pointed to the camera that way, again, you're going to keep the knife against the breastbone again. You're going to use the tip of the knife, and we're going to hold the breast, and as we hold the breast, just little sweeping motions with the tip of your knife, like so, and keeping the knife against this breastbone there. So as you can see, it's starting to come away. Okay, so that's the carcass. That's where we're keeping the knife against. Always make sure that you've got it against the carcass, and just little sweeping motions. This way it's taking your breast off of the carcass and leaving most of the meat on the breast as opposed to on the carcass. Okay, so once it gets down to here, you've got another ball and socket just there. And what we need to do is just cut through, straight through that ball and socket. So if you just make sure that the wing's out of the way, just pull it forward slightly, and then look, you can, as you can see, the ball and socket's there. So you just need to be careful keeping your fingers out of the way and just cut straight through. And there's your chicken breast with your wing left on also. Okay, so now we're going to do the opposite side. Sometimes you'll find once you took one breast off, it's a little bit harder doing the other side because it's a little bit more wobbly, a bit more uneven. So again, where this breastbone is, just cut gently, being careful with your fingers. Just cut all the way down, keeping your knife firmly against this breastbone. Okay, then you can do the same again. You'll see that you'll feel the wishbone with your knife, and just little sweeping motion, just follow it down. Okay, and then we're going to turn it forwards again. We're going to do exactly the same as we did before, but it's on the opposite way. Okay, so again, just using the tip of your knife, the blade of your knife, and then pulling, just holding the breastbone out of the way, just to get that side, just to start you off, and then keeping your knife, as you can see, right against this breastbone here, and just pulling the breast at the same time. Okay, and once you get down to this part, again, you will see the socket. Pull the wing out of the way and the breast until you can see the socket, and then just go straight through the socket, and that gets your breast and your wing. Okay, so that's just, we've portioned it now, and now I'm going to show you how to cut the portions into pieces. But don't throw this away, the stock, because you can use this, sorry, the carcass, because you can use this for stock. Okay, so then you can make your own chicken stock for your sauces or gravies or soups, and then you're reducing food waste also. So I'll just leave that on the side for now, and I'll come back to that in a bit. So the next step is we're going to go back to the chicken legs. Okay, so what we've got here is you've got the whole chicken leg, which you can leave whole, but I'm just going to show you how to portion them into the drumstick and the thigh. Okay, so as you can see, if you turn it over onto the skin side, and where you can see here, there's a ball and socket in there, and you can feel it. If you move it, you can feel it moving. But directly where you feel it moving, there's a little bit of a fat line just there. Okay, and that's a bit of a guide as to where the knuckle is, where the socket is. Okay, which makes it a little bit easier to cut. So if you go, you can feel it, and then if you go near that line, you can sometimes go straight through. Don't worry if you don't get it first time, just go left or right of it, but you can feel the knuckle. So then we've got a drumstick and a thigh. Okay, so we're going to do that same again. So if you can feel the socket just there, and again, it's almost directly on that fat line there, which gives you a guide. Okay, so we're going to do the same again. This time, obviously, it didn't go straight through. So if you just move your knife slightly, left or right, you've then got your thigh and your thigh and your drumstick. Okay, we'll go back to the chicken breast. Now the chicken breast, you can either leave it with the wing on, or you could use the wing obviously as another dish, and you can save your wings up. So we're just going to take this little tip off again, straight through the socket, and then what we're going to do here is we're going to take a little bit of the chicken breast off with it, so you can see where that socket is there. We're just going to cut at an angle so it gives you a little bit of breast meat on there also, but also you've got some meat on the wing, so that's another portion. Okay, then that leaves you with the whole breast. You could, if you wanted to, you could cut that, it depends on how big the chicken is. This is a large chicken, so you could cut that down again into two again, so it gives you two smaller chicken breasts if you wish. Okay, so the same again, just going to take this tip off. Again, don't throw those away just yet. I'm going to show you, explain what you can use those for. Turn it back over and then cut it through at a slight angle, so you've got a little bit of breast meat on there also for another dish. And again, it's quite large, so you could get away with two out of that. So what we've got on this tray is we have, just move that out of the way a minute. Okay, so what we've produced from that whole chicken breast, the whole chicken, we have got 2 chicken drumsticks, 2 chicken thighs, 2 large breasts, which we could cut into 2 again, and then we've got 2 wings. So in fact we've got 8 pieces, but we could actually take that into 10 pieces, and this chicken cost me £3.50. So for £3.50 I've got all of these portions, but also I have a carcass which I could also use, and a bit of the wing tips which can go into the carcass, which can be used, and this can be used for stock. So I'm just going to explain that in one moment. Okay, so for your carcass and making your chicken stock ready for sauces, soups, gravies, anything like that, so you're saving food waste, but you're also making your stock yourself, so you know what's gone in it, so there's no additives, no extra salt, so that's a bonus also. So as you'll know from week 1, we spoke about saving any trimmings from your vegetables, freezing them down in your favourite thing, which is a Ziploc bag, one of these. So here I've been freezing for the past 4 weeks from week 1 any cuttings or trimmings or peelings from onions and the carrots and the parsnips, leeks. I've popped into a Ziploc bag. I've then froze it, so each time I do it I take the bag out, pop the back in, put it back in the freezer, and then now I can utilise this with the chicken carcass, and then we can make your own chicken stock. Okay, well, I hope that was interesting and you've learnt a new technique. Thank you for listening.